Have you ever made someone feel something so deeply they don't even know why? Tonight, I'm going to show you a single thing you can do just once that will stir emotions in her heart she's tried to hide even from herself. It's subtle, almost invisible, but it's powerful enough to make her cry all night, wondering why she feels so connected, so pulled towards you. This isn't about games or manipulation. It's about understanding her heart, seeing the unspoken, and creating a bond she can't explain. Watch closely, because what I'm about to reveal will change the way she feels forever. And if you feel this, comment below where you're watching from. Hit that subscribe button and join this journey, because what happens next will leave you speechless. You see, there's a truth most people overlook. Emotions aren't always logical. They aren't something she decides on a conscious level. They're something she feels, often before she even knows it herself. And when you understand that, you realize that the smallest gestures, the tiniest moments, can awaken something deep inside her. You don't need grand declarations or over-the-top acts. What matters is subtlety, a look, a word, a presence that makes her feel seen in a way she's never experienced before. This is where the real connection begins. You're not trying to force her emotions. You're creating the space for them to surface naturally. And when that happens, it's powerful, almost undeniable. Think about it, every human being has hidden chambers of emotion, memories and experiences that shape how they feel in any given moment. Most of the time, these chambers remain closed, locked away behind routines and distractions. But one precise action, done with awareness, can open the door ever so slightly. It might be something as simple as sharing a moment of vulnerability, a fleeting smile that lingers longer than usual, or saying a sentence that resonates with an unspoken part of her soul. She may not articulate it, and she may even question why she feels it, but the effect is profound. It taps into her subconscious, where genuine emotion thrives, untouched by logic or control. What's crucial here is timing and authenticity. If it feels forced, if it feels rehearsed, she'll sense it instantly. Emotional resonance cannot be faked. It's felt. And when you act from a place of sincerity, you're creating a psychological ripple, one that moves quietly, almost invisibly, until it surfaces as something intense and raw. The moment she feels it, she won't just remember what you did, she'll feel it in her body, in her mind, in the quiet corners of her heart she never expected to open. That's the power of subtle emotional triggers. This is why many people get it wrong. They chase attention, they perform gestures, they hope to elicit a reaction. But without understanding the emotional architecture of her mind, all of it falls flat. You're not here to perform. You're here to awaken. And the awakening comes not through pressure or expectation, but through precision, patience, and presence. One action, carefully executed, can bypass her defenses entirely. One authentic moment can resonate longer than weeks of attempts, longer than conversations, longer than any obvious display of effort. So understand this: to move someone profoundly, you don't need to shout. You don't need fireworks. You need awareness. You need empathy. You need the courage to act in a way that respects her inner world while gently stirring it. And when you do, you'll see why emotion is often more powerful than reason, and why she may cry that night, not because she understands why, but because she feels. Remember this, and let it guide you. The depth of her emotion is only limited by the depth of your awareness. Act with presence, and you will leave an imprint that lingers far beyond words. There's something uniquely powerful about unpredictability. Most people move through life on autopilot, following patterns, routines, and predictable behaviors. She's no different. When someone enters her life in a way that breaks her expectations, it creates a spark she can't ignore. It's not about tricks or manipulation. It's about authenticity delivered in a way that is unexpected. A small, surprising gesture, a word she didn't see coming, a vulnerability shared at the right moment can crack through the walls she's built around herself. And once those walls begin to shift, the emotional impact lingers far longer than any grand, obvious effort ever could. The psychology behind this is simple, yet profound. Humans are wired to notice deviation from patterns. Our brains are constantly scanning for novelty. It's a survival mechanism designed to identify opportunities or threats. When you become that novelty in her emotional landscape, something clicks. It's not fear, it's attention, but attention with depth. She begins to process you differently, not just as another person, but as someone who evokes curiosity, intrigue, and unexpected emotional resonance. And the beauty is, she often doesn't understand why she feels this pull. But unpredictability is not chaos. It is intentional. It is deliberate. It requires observation, awareness, and timing. You need to understand her world enough to know what will surprise her in a meaningful way. It could be as subtle as a message that resonates at a precise moment, or a quiet gesture that shows empathy she wasn't expecting. The key is that it's aligned with your character and your values. Otherwise, it feels disingenuous, and the effect vanishes instantly. She senses authenticity instinctively. What happens when you get it right is almost magnetic. She starts replaying moments in her mind, wondering why a simple gesture affected her so deeply. She can't articulate it because it bypasses reasoning and goes straight to the emotional core. And that is where true connection lies, not in the things said, but in the feelings evoked. The unpredictability isn't just a trick to grab attention. It's a doorway to intimacy, to emotional depth, to resonance that touches parts of her she didn't know were accessible. Most people underestimate the subtle power of surprise in emotional connection. They believe consistency is enough, predictability is enough. But predictability breeds comfort, not intensity. Intensity requires contrast, nuance, and the courage to step outside the ordinary. When you embrace that, you create a presence in her life she can't ignore. And once she feels it, the ripple effect is profound. Curiosity turns into reflection, reflection into emotion, and emotion into something unforgettable. So remember, this unpredictability, when used with integrity and awareness, isn't about control. It's about resonance. It's about creating moments that linger, stir, and awaken parts of her heart she didn't even know were there. Act with authenticity and precision, and you'll leave an impression that isn't easily forgotten. The moments she can't explain are the ones that matter most. Connection is never about words alone. You can speak eloquently, craft perfect sentences, even share profound thoughts. But if she doesn't feel them, they vanish into the air. Emotional connection is far deeper than communication. It's a resonance between hearts and minds, an exchange that transcends logic. When you understand this, you realize that your presence, your energy, and your subtle actions often speak louder than anything you could say. She responds not to the explanation, but to the emotion you evoke. That's the difference between fleeting attention and lasting impact. It's fascinating how the human mind works. We tend to overanalyze feelings, trying to understand why someone moved us, why a single moment lingered in memory. But often, the most profound experiences are those we cannot explain. They bypass reasoning entirely and settle into our subconscious. When you act from a place of authenticity, when your gestures and energy align with who you truly are, you engage this subconscious level. She may cry, she may smile, she may pause in thought, but she feels something she can't articulate. And that feeling is far more powerful than any words could ever be. Genuine emotional connection requires awareness. You must notice the unspoken, sense the subtle shifts in her mood, and respond in a way that mirrors understanding rather than manipulation. It's about presence. The ability to be fully attentive to her, to see her inner world without judgment, and to offer a safe space for those hidden emotions to surface. In these moments, words are secondary. Your energy, your calm, your sincerity is the bridge. She feels you before she hears you. And when she does, the intensity of that feeling often surprises her, leaving a mark that lingers far beyond the encounter. Most people underestimate the potency of this invisible connection. They focus on gestures that are external, gifts, compliments, displays of effort, but the deepest impact comes from alignment between your inner self and your outward presence. When you act authentically and emotionally attuned, you create a magnetic field around yourself. She senses it intuitively. It pulls at her heart in ways she cannot fully understand, triggering emotions that rise to the surface, sometimes in tears, sometimes in quiet reflection. The effect is subtle yet unforgettable. So remember this: the power of connection isn't about saying the right thing or performing the right action. It's about embodying presence, empathy, and authenticity in every interaction. When you tap into this, you evoke responses that are genuine, unfiltered, and deeply emotional. She may not be able to explain why she feels what she feels, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that she does feel it, and that feeling will shape her experience of you long after the moment passes. Act with awareness, act with sincerity, and you will create a bond that resonates on a level words cannot reach.